Friday, 28th of April, 1944. Dear Kitty, I have never forgotten my dream about Peter Wessel. See beginning of January. If I think of it, I can still feel his cheek against mine now, and recall that lovely feeling that made everything good. Sometimes I have had the same feeling here with Peter, but never to such an extent, until yesterday, when we were, as usual, sitting on the divan, our arms around each other's waists. Then suddenly the ordinary Anne slipped away and a second Anne took her place, a second Anne who is not reckless and jocular, but one who just wants to love and be gentle. I sat pressed closely against him and felt a wave of emotion come over me. Tears sprang into my eyes. The left one trickled onto his dungarees. The right one ran down my nose and also fell onto his dungarees. Did he notice? He made no move or sign to show that he did. I wonder if he feels the same as I do. He hardly said a word. Does he know that he has two Annes before him? These questions must remain unanswered. At 8:30, I stood up and went to the window, where we always say good-bye. I was still trembling. I was still Anne number 2. He came towards me. I flung my arms around his neck and gave him a kiss on his left cheek, and was about to kiss the other cheek, when my lips met his, and we pressed them together. In a whirl we were clasped into each other's arms again and again, never to leave off. Oh, Peter does so need tenderness. For the first time in his life he has discovered a girl, has seen for the first time that even the most irritating girls have another side to them, that they have hearts and can be different when you are alone with them. For the first time in his life he has given of himself and, having never had a boy or girlfriend in his life before, shown his real self. Now we have found each other. For that matter, I didn't know him either, like him having never had a trusted friend, and this is what it has come to. Once more, there is a question which gives me no peace. Is it right? Is it right that I should have yielded so soon? That I am so ardent, just as ardent and eager as Peter himself? May I, a girl, let myself go to this extent? There is but one answer. I have longed so much and for so long. I am so lonely, and now I have found consolation. In the mornings, we just behave in an ordinary way. In the afternoon, more or less, so, except just occasionally. But in the evenings, the suppressed longings of the whole day, the happiness and the blissful memories of all the previous occasions come to the surface, and we only think of each other. Every evening, after the last kiss, I would like to dash away, not to look into his eyes any more, away, away, alone in the darkness. And what do I have to face when I reach the bottom of the staircase? Bright lights, questions, and laughter. I have to swallow it all and not show a thing. My heart still feels too much. I can't get over the shock such as I received yesterday all at once. The Anne who is gentle shows herself too little anyway, and, therefore, will not allow herself to be suddenly driven into the background. Peter has touched my emotions more deeply than anyone has ever done before, except in my dreams. Peter has taken possession of me and turned me inside out. Surely it goes without saying that anyone would require a rest and a little while to recover from such an upheaval. Oh, Peter, what have you done to me? What do you want of me? Where will this lead us? Oh, now I understand Eli. Now, that I'm going through this myself. Now I understand her doubt. If I were older and he should ask me to marry him, what should I answer? Anne, be honest. You would not be able to marry him, but yet it would be hard to let him go. Peter hasn't enough character yet, not enough willpower, too little courage and strength. He is still a child in his heart of hearts. He is no older than I am. He is only searching for tranquility and happiness. Am I only 14? Am I really still a silly little schoolgirl? Am I really so inexperienced about everything? I have more experience than most. I have been through things that hardly anyone of my age has undergone. I am afraid of myself. I am afraid that in my longing I am giving myself too quickly. How, later on, can it ever go right with other boys? Oh, it is so difficult, always battling with one's heart and reason. In its own time, each will speak, but do I know for certain that I have chosen the right time? Yours, Anne. Tuesday, 2nd of May, 1944. Dear Kitty, On Saturday evening I asked Peter whether he thought I ought to tell Daddy a bit about us. When we'd discussed it a little, he came to the conclusion that I should. I was glad, for it shows that he's an honest boy. As soon as I got downstairs, I went off with Daddy to get some water, and while we were on the stairs, I said, "Daddy, I expect you've gathered that when we're together, Peter and I don't sit miles apart. Do you think it's wrong?" Daddy didn't reply immediately, then said, "No, I don't think it's wrong, but you must be careful, Anne. You're in such a confined space here." When we went upstairs, he said something else on the same lines. On Sunday morning he called me to him and said, "Anne, I have thought more about what you said." I felt scared already. "It's not really very right here, in this house. I thought you were just pals. Is Peter in love?" "Oh, of course not," I replied. "You know that I understand both of you, but you must be the one to hold back. Don't go upstairs so often. Don't encourage him more than you can help. It is the man who is always the active one in these things. The woman can hold him back. It is quite different under normal circumstances. When you are free, you see other boys and girls, you can get away sometimes, play games and do all kinds of other things. But here, if you're together a lot and you want to get away, you can't see each other every hour of the day, in fact, all the time. Be careful, Anne, and don't take it too seriously." "I don't, Daddy, but Peter is a decent boy, really, a nice boy." "Yes, but he is not a strong character. He can be easily influenced, for good, but also for bad. I hope for his sake that his good side will remain upmost, because, by nature, that is how he is." We talked on for a bit and agreed that Daddy should talk to him too. On Sunday morning in the attic he asked, "And have you talked to your father, Anne?" "Yes," I replied. I'll tell you about it. Daddy doesn't think it's bad, but he says that here, where we're so close together all the time, clashes may easily arise. But we agreed, didn't we, never to quarrel? And I'm determined to stick to it." "So will I, Peter, but Daddy didn't think that it was like this. He just thought we were pals. Do you think we still can be?" "I can. What about you?" "Me too. I told Daddy that I trusted you. I do trust you, Peter, just as much as I trust Daddy, and I believe you to be worthy of it. You are, aren't you, Peter?" "I hope so." He was very shy and rather red in the face. "I believe in you, Peter," I went on. "I believe that you have good qualities and that you'll go on in the world." After that, we talked about other things. Later I said, If we come out of here, I know quite well that you won't bother about me any more." He flared right up. "That's not true, Anne. Oh no, I won't let you think that." Then I was called away. Daddy has talked to him. He told me about it today. "Your father thought that the friendship might develop into love sooner or later," he said, but I replied that we would keep a check on ourselves. Daddy doesn't want me to go upstairs so much in the evenings now, but I don't want that. Not only because I like being with Peter, I have told him that I trust him. I do trust him, and I want to show him that I do, which can't happen if I stay downstairs through lack of trust. No, I'm going. In the meantime, the Dussel drama has rightened itself again. At supper on Saturday evening he apologized in beautiful Dutch. Van Daan was nice about it straight away. It must have taken Dussel a whole day to learn that little lesson off by heart. Sunday, his birthday passed peacefully. We gave him a bottle of good 1919 wine from the Van Daans, who could give their presents now after all, a bottle of Picali, and a packet of razor blades, a jar of lemon jam from Crawler, a book, Little Martian, from Miep, and a plant from Eli. He treated each one of us to an egg. Yours, Anne. Wednesday, 3rd of May, 1944. Dear Kitty, first, just the news of the week. We're having a holiday from politics. There is nothing, absolutely nothing to announce. I, too, am gradually beginning to believe that the invasion will come. After all, they can't let the Russians clear up everything. For that matter, they're not doing anything either at the moment. Mr. Kufis comes to the office every morning again now. He's got a new spring for Peter's divan. So Peter will have to do some upholstering, about which, quite understandably, he doesn't feel a bit happy. Have I told you that Boshi has disappeared? Simply vanished. We haven't seen a sign of her since Thursday of last week. I expect she's already in the cat's heaven, while some animal lover is enjoying a succulent meal from her. Perhaps some little girl will be given a fur cap out of her skin. Peter is very sad about it. Since Saturday we've changed over and have a lunch at 11:30 in the mornings, so we have to last out with 1 cupful of porridge. This saves us a meal. Vegetables are still very difficult to obtain. We had rotten boiled lettuce this afternoon. Ordinary lettuce, spinach, and boiled lettuce. There's nothing else. With these we eat rotten potatoes, so it's a delicious combination. As you can easily imagine, we often ask ourselves here despairingly, oh, what is the use of war? Why can't people live peacefully together? Why all this destruction? The question is very understandable, but no one has found a satisfactory answer to it so far. Yes, why do they make still more gigantic planes, still heavier bombs, and, at the same time, prefabricated houses for reconstruction? Why should millions be spent daily on the war, and yet there's not a penny available for medical services, artists, or for poor people? Why do some people have to starve, while there are surpluses rotting in other parts of the world? Oh, why are people so crazy? I don't believe that big men, the politicians, and the capitalists alone are guilty of the war. Oh no, the little man is just as guilty. Otherwise, the peoples of the world would have risen in revolt long ago. There's in people simply an urge to destroy, an urge to kill, to murder and rage, and until all mankind, without exception, undergoes a great change, wars will be waged. Everything that has been built up, cultivated, and grown will be destroyed and disfigured, after which mankind will have to begin all over again. I have often been downcast, but never in despair. I regard our hiding as a dangerous adventure, romantic and interesting at the same time. In my diary, I treat all the privations as amusing. I have made up my mind now to lead a different life from other girls, and, later on, different from ordinary housewives. My start has been so very full of interest, and that is the sole reason why I have to laugh at the humorous side of the most dangerous moments. I am young, and I possess many buried qualities. I am young and strong, and am living a great adventure. I am still in the midst of it, and can't grumble the whole day long. I have been given a lot, a happy nature, a great deal of cheerfulness and strength. Every day I feel that I am developing inwardly, that the liberation is drawing nearer, and how beautiful nature is. How good the people are about me. How interesting this adventure is. Why then should I be in despair? Friday, 5th of May, 1944. Dear Kitty, Daddy is not pleased with me. He thought that after our talk on Sunday I automatically wouldn't go upstairs every evening. He doesn't want any necking, a word I can't bear. It was bad enough talking about it. Why must he make it so unpleasant now? I shall talk to him today. Margot has given me some good advice, so listen. This is roughly what I want to say. I believe, Daddy, that you expect a declaration from me, so I will give it to you. You are disappointed in me, as you had expected more reserve from me, and I suppose you want me to be just a 14-year-old should be, but that's where you're mistaken. Since we've been here, from July 1942 until a few weeks ago, I can assure you that I haven't had any easy time. If you only knew how I cried in the evenings, how unhappy I was, how lonely I felt, then you would understand that I want to go upstairs. I have now reached the stage that I can live entirely on my own, without Mummy's support or anyone else for that matter. But it hasn't just happened in a night. It's been a bitter, hard struggle, and I've shed many a tear before I became as independent as I am now. You can laugh at me and not believe me, but that can't harm me. I know that I'm a separate individual, and I don't feel in the least bit responsible to any of you. I am only telling you this because I thought that otherwise you might think that I was underhanded. But I don't have to give an account of my deeds to anyone but myself. When I was in difficulties, you all closed your eyes and stopped up your ears and didn't help me. On the contrary, I received nothing but warnings not to be so boisterous. I was only boisterous so as not to be miserable all the time. I was reckless so as not to hear that persistent voice within me continually. I played a comedy for a year and a half, day in, day out. I never grumbled, never lost my cue, nothing like that. And now the battle is over. I have won. I am independent both in mind and body. I don't need a mother any more, for all this conflict has made me strong. Continue on page 225. Yours, Anne.